Find a need and fill it. That's what we're going to be talking about today. Hey folks, this is Ken Duncan, and welcome to episode 12. Find a need and then fill it. Just exactly how do you do that? Well, in my opinion, the first step is listening. And I got to tell you, that's a hard skill for me because I like to talk. As you're aware, everything I do has a backstory. So here we go. Philip and Betsy Barr are a young couple who spent several years in China, but they had to return to the United States in 2018 because the pollution there was causing some health problems with their family. Well, after they returned to the U.S., they found like they still had a heart to serve the international community that actually lives here in Knoxville. Now, Betsy is a math whiz, and her and Philip used the lessons that they had learned in China, and together they started a thriving international church and a tutoring business. Here's Betsy. She's going to tell you a little bit of the rest of the story.
Just a little thing like you're my uncle.
So you came back, started the Nashville International Church, also started the Bar 3M thing, and I'm assuming that you wanted to do some kind of a outreach to your folks there at the Nashville International Church, and you came up with the idea that you then sent me.
Right. So one of our friends from China, she's a graphic designer, and so in starting these things, we were like, we need a logo and graphical representation. Neither of us are artistic, and so we were like, we need some help with that. Okay. And so we reached out to Kelly, and she's the one that came up with the logos for the business and the church. And then Uncle Kenny, you would always just send us pictures of earrings or something that you had made, and we were all like, this is really awesome. And so with new churches, like we're talking with different church planners, and they were always like, yeah, here's our cup, or here's our pen with our church, and so one day I just thought, what if we had Uncle Kenny make us like a magnet for our logo for the church, and like we could give that to people that are praying for us or supporting us financially, just as a way to say thank you. And so anyway, so I gave you the church logo, and it's got like the sun sphere of Knoxville and the skyline. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, I don't even know if you can like do this. And lo and behold, you did. So.
Of course, if you now realize, things turned out I now have two favorite relatives that are customers of mine. But that, of course, is not the end of our story.
So then we were trying to, start marketing a little bit more and start trying to get, more people to use our tutoring services and sign up for ACT prep and things like that. And so we had just gotten the logos for the church, and it had the magnet on it. And I thought, oh, that would be cool to do for the business too. So then I told you about that. Anyways, then Uncle Kenny, you were like, hey, what if we put a QR code on it to where people could then use their phones to go directly to our website? And I was like, well, that would be cool. and then we were, but I really liked the magnet because, people, otherwise it's just this random thing laying around for some business that people may or may not want to use. And so thinking, how could we get the magnet in? So we ended up collaborating a little bit, like, okay, where would we put the magnet? Where would the logo go? Where did the QR code go? And so we went back and forth a couple of times trying to find the right thing.
So I guess there are three takeaways from this episode. The first one being, you got to listen. The second one being, don't neglect looking for diamonds in your own backyard. And the third one, well, that's listen as well. Okay, I know I mentioned that first one twice because it's so important. Y'all stay safe and stay creative out there, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Three, two, one. I guess there's at least three takeaways from this episode. The first one being, listen. The second one, well, I forgot what that second one was, so I could just not talk. 2, 1.